Welcome back to Money Matters. I'm Emily Johnson, and I am joined by David Kroll, and we are continuing the discussion of the various themes that are going to be impacting and are impacting the economy, the markets, the bond markets, and your pocketbook. So before we left, and I'm just going to continue with my monologue here, I guess. Before we broke for the commercial, we were talking about making sure that you're looking at your financial plan, discussing it with your financial advisor. And one thing that I wanted to segue with that is, as you're looking at that right now, and as you're bombarded with all of this white noise with regards to the financial markets, it's really important to just trim the fat in what it is that you're looking at. You can start overthinking things. You can, there's plenty of books, magazines, articles, newsletters, etc. that you can obtain that make you, that are good, but that can also inspire some fear. What's really important to do is first start, if you're looking at it like a pyramid, first start looking at your goals, your objectives, and how much risk you personally can take, both financially and mentally. So starting with that, that's really, really important. Then from there, then you know exactly sort of which houses you have to fill, or I guess pieces of the pie. When you look at your pie, you actually have to address, and then attack each of those individually, thinking about how do they interact with each other. What is the cost to me? How tax efficient are they? But you've already determined that those pieces of the pie do actually fit into your financial goals and your financial puzzles. So that, just make sure that you trim the fat. Don't get lost in the white noise. Just really be looking at what's most appropriate for you in your circumstance. What do you understand? Seek advice for the things that you may or may not understand, and definitely educate yourself. But it's important to not get lost in in some of the details there, and trim the fat.
Exactly. So
that's not a theme, I guess.
It's a way of what Emily's just explained is a way of putting into a context all of the crazy and I find fascinating interplay of world events and the world economy, which is confusing enough to bewilder even the best economists at the moment. And what Emily's just given you is a way of making sense of all of that, which is just simply to remember that your goals and needs come first and overpower tenfold all of the nonsense about the grand world economy that we were just talking about.
Exactly.
One of the things that we come back to again and again, and I think this is terribly important, is war in the Ukraine might have a quarter or an eighth of 1% impact on your financial well-being. The collapse of Greece might have a quarter of 1% financial impact in a very, very complex way on your financial well-being. And this is another way of thinking about the same thing. Anything that happens, a total eclipse of the sun, might have a 2% impact on your financial well-being. So pretty much anything that you can imagine is going to have real but very marginal effects on your financial well-being. Consider that as opposed to a smart tax strategy, which we've gone into in the past here, which might have a 10 or 15% impact on your financial well-being. Consider that versus honing down the white noise in your personal life to education's important to me, food, light, and electricity is important to me, not much else is important to me. Get your objectives straight and focus on achieving your objectives only. That can have a massive effect, a 10-15% effect in your life. Getting rid of consumer debt, just going on a blitz. No consumer debt in my life, no cars, no credit cards. I'll do whatever I have to do in order to transport equity out of my house, do whatever I need to do, take money from my retirement plan to get rid of all consumer debt. That can have a 5, 6, 7% impact on your life. So think about it. Greece collapses half of 1%. Make a decision about the credit cards, 5%. It's a big difference.
Right.
And that's really where Emily's headed. And if your financial advisor's good, they, doing what they do, can have a very big impact on your financial well-being. You know, much bigger impact than Greece has. So.
Very true. Very true. So I'm trying to think of some other themes actually that we've seen market-wise that are impacting, or economy-wise, that are actually impacting the markets in the coming weeks. And I think that probably one of the biggest ones, if we go local, is that we actually have a golf tournament coming up.
Yep.
We have the Masters going on right now. And one thing that we're definitely seeing from the Masters, and we're seeing here locally, if you are here in Hilton Head or in the greater Hilton Head area, is a lot of traffic, and there's definitely an increase that has been anecdotal, in the news as a national trend, but we're seeing it firsthand here, and that is definitely an increase in discretionary spending. So there's been little ticks up in discretionary spending in the news, but here in Hilton Head and in our general area, I think that we can see that as a very real, activity that's going on here. It's not just anecdotal.
In fact, I was interviewed on CNBC recently, talking about the second home market. They weren't. I wasn't being invited to give my opinions on the world economy, as you can imagine. But I was invited to do a little snapshot on financing of second homes and in a second home market, because Hilton Head is a very unique market. The rest of the world is not like Hilton Head.
Right.
And the conversation went very quickly in exactly that direction. We are experiencing firsthand the impact of economic growth in the United States. You only have to have very modest economic growth before people feel a little extra dough in their pockets, before their spirits rise. And what do they do first?
Spend.
They spend on vacation money.
Right.
They go someplace nice. I hate to say this, but no one retires and goes north. It just hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't happened. But people get a little happy, just even a little bit, and they'll go for 3 days. Get a little happier, they'll go for a week.
And it's somewhat irrational when you look at the fact that the other evidence is out there saying that real wages are not really growing.
That's right.
They're stagnant. They're not declining. Although I guess it depends which research you read. But by and large, what's the jingle in the pocket is not necessarily a lot of extra jingle, but it's just this general optimism.
It's an
the thought that
optimism.
If their 401k is looking better, that's the wealth effect, of course. If they feel like they have better job prospects, or they're not going to lose their job tomorrow.
Not going to lose the job.
It's sort of, like we were reading an article before we came on the air, and they talked about negative growth. That's declines, but it's discussed as negative growth because we're a society of optimists.
We're a society of optimists. In my own industry, in the mortgage industry, we're at full employment. So it's processors of mortgages, underwriters of mortgages, all of the salaried positions, all of the trained salaried positions are at full employment. Wages are going up.
Right.
Wage pressure is up. Certainly, all of the personnel in those positions have reason for optimism. And one of the ways of expressing it is to go out to dinner, to go to a nice sunny place for 3 days or 5 days or a week or whatever. We're at 100% capacity in our restaurants, 100% capacity in our short-term rentals. The projection across the summer into October at this point is for very near 100% capacity. It's quite remarkable.
So if you live in Hilton Head, you probably want to ride a bike everywhere,
that's
versus taking a car, especially for the next week or so.
That's right. Right.
It's a really positive thing to see. As we've been doing this show for 4 years, we certainly haven't felt sort of this level of positive and optimistic.
And you can really measure this stuff in real terms, because we have friends who directly benefit by the improvement in the restaurant business. Whether they be servers or restaurant owners, we have both as friends, and they benefit directly today by this upsurge, and they have some
jingle in their pocket. Hopefully some of that jingle also ends up in their bank account at some point as a rainy day fund.
Right. Right.
So anyway, I guess that sort of finishes up our themes for this week. Thank you very, very much for joining us. If you're here visiting from somewhere else and seeing us on, on your hotel TV, Thank you very much for joining us. We love getting feedback from folks from all over the place. We love your ideas for future shows. Please check us out on Facebook, send us an email, give us a phone call. We love hearing from you. So until, yes.
I just wanted to put a plug in for Savannah Hilton Head International Airport.
Yes.
There are apparently, I was at the airport the other day, there are flights coming in from all over the place, from all over Ohio, from Tennessee, from
DC,
Kentucky,
Dallas.
DC.
Yeah.
Alliant Airline is going to start daily flights from all of these locations. I think we're in for boom time here.
Exciting.
It's
fantastic.
exciting.
Well, please join us again next week for more Money Matters and have a wonderful, wonderful week.